Greetings. My name is Ben, aka Downsize It, and today I have a very special guest on the channel to interview. I'm pretty sure everyone who watches my channel knows who he is. It is Garrett Vance, the man behind Admiral Tater's Ship Shop and all of those fantastic supplemental materials for the game of Star Wars Armada, X-Wing, and Legion. Garrett, thanks for coming on the channel for this interview.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's awesome to be here and talk to you, see what we can get down into.
Well, to start off, for people that might not know who you are, why don't you give us a little bit of background into your history with these Star Wars games in general, and what made you want to start a company, basically, to create range rulers was, I guess, what your first things were, I suppose.
Yeah, sure. Let me, I'll try and keep it like condensed. So in 2000, I want to say 2016, I picked up the core set to Armada, and I was going to college at the time. And so I saw the game. I was like, oh, wow, cool miniatures. I purchased it. Me and my friend played around, and we're like, okay, well, this is neat. I didn't put too much research into it, and I didn't realize there was like a bunch of expansions.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of put it back on the shelf, and then went back to school, basically. And then in 2018, I graduated and had some free time during the summer, and I decided I was going to start picking up into this game, and got some games in. Spent a outrageous amount of money trying to source all these expansions, because I didn't understand at the time anything about the community. So I was like, why can't I just buy this stuff on Amazon? So I was paying like $45 for like a squadron pack on eBay, because I thought that was the only way to get them. So I was doing that, and then went to my first store championship thing, and it was just like three of us hanging out, and that was a lot of fun here in Lexington, Kentucky. And I was like, okay, well, this game's pretty cool. So I was like, oh man, I would love to get a they had some fancy stuff with them that they had won through the years, like store rulers and stuff.
Like the store rulers for it was like the tournament packs back then.
Yeah.
Like rulers for winners, that kind of thing.
Right. And then they had some the defense tokens, like the mini ones that they used to make.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this stuff's pretty cool. So I hopped on eBay, and I bought this, I think it was Nova 2016 or something, set of rulers. And I got them in, and I paid I don't know, $80 for them or something. And I got them in. It was pretty funny. They didn't even match each other. And then they weren't even close to what the cardboard ruler was. So I was like, I was pretty disappointed. So I was I just wrote it off as a loss. I was like, all right, whatever. Move on with my life. And then I got on. I was looking for other Armada accessories, like scenery and obstacles, right? And so I was like, okay, well, there's nothing here. And then I just kept collecting or whatever, the expansions themselves. And then my wife was like, oh man, I really want a 3D printer. And I was like, okay. I was an engineer in school, or an electrical engineer. So I was like, I know how to 3D print and stuff. So we bought a little TiVo Tornado or something like that. And I downloaded Fusion 360 and started making some card trays or whatever. And making them for myself. I was horrible at printing. I was like, what is wrong with, they come out all gaudy and stuff. But
right.
I finally got them down to look good, okay. And I went on to buy other Armada accessories, and nothing existed, basically. Anywhere. You couldn't buy anything. There was a couple people who made ruler sets, like Recreator. They made some nice stuff, and then Litco made some stuff I did not like. But basically I threw up some 3D printed card trays on Etsy, and somebody bought one. I was like, what? Okay. So yeah, somebody up in Wisconsin bought one, and that was pretty cool. So that really motivated me to okay, well, maybe I can make some stuff. And so I just started selling 3D printed stuff at first, and then I just saved my pennies up and eventually bought a laser engraver and popped out some rulers.
That probably was not a small purchase.
Yeah, I know. It was a few thousand. So I have this and I do things really slow. which is helpful and not helpful. So I do everything debt free. So like I can't do anything where I have to borrow anything. So it's like I have to sit there and save. So I was pretty excited.
That is the smart way to do it. So
yeah, no risk involved, right? So if like everything fails, like I'm okay. So I got the laser engraver and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start making some rulers finally that are actually the lengths I want them to be. And then that was basically it. And then that was a pretty big hit. And then I started making little cases for them and stuff, and then expanded from there. And that took, about 9 months to get to that point of just slow grind. And then I was making enough stuff that I was able to leave the job I was at and just focus entirely on it. And then it's just been, slow and steady ever since, just growing it up. And now we're here, and we've got I think I have over 100 different items on my shop.
Yeah.
Like individual things. So,
I mean, what's your backlog like right now?
So I've done a really good job of keeping everything a max of 4 weeks is the longest I do on anything. And a lot of that's just, even if I sat down for a whole week and didn't sleep, I have to wait for materials.
Right.
So I like to give myself a buffer. But I try to get some stuff out in 2 weeks, the simple rulers I do. I try to get those things out in less than 2 weeks if I can. So just so people aren't waiting forever. I'm not Amazon, but I try and move as quickly as I can.
Yeah. Well, so with the rulers, because I mean, you said, one of your main decisions to make your own was because, like you said, the Nova ones you got weren't even consistent among themselves for ranges, let alone with the actual cardboard ruler.
Yeah.
How did you come down to get the exact lengths? Because, my cardboard ruler, I never use it because I bought my stuff secondhand and it's bent, it's warped.
Yeah.
So even when I first got it, I couldn't really even use it.
It was really confusing at first because on face value, it's okay, this cardboard ruler is what it's supposed to be. And so I had this cardboard ruler, and then I asked to see my other friend's cardboard ruler, and then I had 5, and every single one of them was different.
Oh my gosh! Even the cardboard rulers were all not consistent.
So it depended on what year the core set was made, and then what cardboard printing center they were cutting them at. So, and printing them. So they were just wildly all over the place, and they still are, which is pretty funny. One of the first things I did when I got the Clone Wars starter sets is I cut all 4 of them out and compared them. All of them different.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so the first thing I did is I just sat down and started collecting as many rulers as I could, cardboard ones, and just taking an average of that and just going from there. And that way when because the first thing people do when they get a ruler, I assume, is they're all right, let's check this to my cardboard one.
Right.
And then, sometimes I'll get a message, they'll be like, this is nothing like my cardboard one. And then I'll send them an image of 6 of them lined up next to each other. And I usually have a chat, and they're they think it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But there is some good acrylic official ones that are out there. So the 2016 green one, the double-sided one, is the best ruler in existence.
As far as ranges are concerned?
Yeah, as far as length and ranges and everything, and consistency. So, and then I think I want to say maybe the 2015 white Grand Championship rulers. So there's not many out there. I've touched a lot of ruler sets, so but I feel good about what I have now, so I don't plan on changing anything going forward.
And do you have that locked in in a program where you have your ranges set so you can just automatically just lock it in and just click every time?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got it set up to change all the wacky symbols people put on everything. So that way I just have to change out that stuff. And then the last thing that ever happens is lines and cuts. So that way, that's the most important part. Because some people will get something to be oh, this isn't, there's 1 meter on this side, or 1 millimeter on this side, and 0.7 millimeters on this side of the circle. But rest assured, the part that I'm most attentive to is the lines and the cut of where it happens on the lasers. So, but yeah, I know. So that stuff's all set in gold, and I don't plan on changing that ever. So until change the tool of the game.
Right. Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're fantastic, and I mean, even Karnak uses them for his official judging. So
Yeah.
I think your stuff has taken off pretty significantly, I have to say, and it was a game changer for me when I because I was just getting tired of my warp bent cardboard one, and I was just
Yeah.
thinking, I really like this game. I want to get into it. I want to get a custom set of rulers, and I did research for about 2 or 3 months and couldn't find anything I liked. I was watching some other channels at the time, their bat reps, they had some custom stuff that was like from different companies. Didn't like anything I saw. Then I
Yeah.
finally found your Etsy page, and I guess I just got lucky in that I guess that was near the end of when you were doing the wooden ones.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. The wooden trays that you put them in.
yeah, man, that
Yeah.
that was and also I guess was one of your guinea pigs for the original Chimera symbol on there as well.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Chimera symbol was like a nightmare, right? Because I had to like recreate it from scratch. Because like there's no like good images ever that like, anytime anybody sends me anything, usually it's like this low pixel art, and I have to like recreate it. So that Chimera one was just like painstaking, and that was back when I was like really bad at everything, and so it took me like days to like trace it out and try and like correct it to like make it look good when I engraved it. But yeah, those wood things were neat to do, but they were an absolute nightmare.
I can tell. I love mine, but I could when I first got it, I showed my brother-in-law. Like, man, can you believe this? this is like top level work, and I guess they're collector's pieces now, but
yeah. So there's some people that have them out there, but I'm just like, oh man, never again.
Never again. Never gonna do like a limited run, back.
No, like wood. So wood is, I think the worst part about wood is how dirty it makes your machines. Because I was using, so like I was ordering like
cleaning, I imagine is
yeah,
a pain. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like ordering that wood from like California, like some Cherokee, it's like Cherokee wood or something. It was like, 100% pure Baltic birch, which doesn't sound impressive, but like a lot of times you'll buy laser materials, and then you'll start going through it, and it's like, it's like MDF almost, like glued together.
Yeah.
And that's even worse. So
yeah,
I was having trouble sourcing it, and then I was not doing a good job of like, this will take me 5 hours to do, but it shouldn't take me 5 hours to do. And so the wood stuff just like, I remember I was only selling like, I don't know, 1 or 2 trays a week. So it wasn't too bad. And so I'd spend like an entire like 2 to 3 days on like one thing.
Just one.
Yeah. And so like your original one was kind of like that. So it would just like, it would take like three hours to like do that massive engraving. And I was like, okay, well, if I want to scale this is not a sustainable situation. Right.
Especially if it starts really taking off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I will say your new design for the actual trays, how you flip the rulers so they actually kind of lock into each other.
Yeah.
So they're more compact. I actually really like that. I'm really liking my new set that I got with the tournament box system. And the matte black is just far superior to the gloss black.
That's for sure.
I'm past how long have I had that tray? Almost 3 years now. Yeah. Constantly cleaning off my fingerprint smudges off everything that I don't have to worry about anymore.
Yeah. If anybody ever orders like glossy black, like the first message I send is, hold on.
Are you sure?
Let's do matte black.
Yeah.
I try to talk them out of it, but yeah, no, the new that tray design where it's like all condensed and stuff is much better. Yeah, because I remember when that happened. So I like launched. I had like the smaller tray, as I call it, like I think the compressed tray version or something. And the first comment I posted on Reddit, and someone's like, "How come it doesn't hold the maneuver tools too?" And I was like, oh. Back to the drawing board.
Right.
So I was pretty excited when I figured out the solution to do that. But so now those are extremely popular. They're like all over the place. So I'm excited whenever I go anywhere. I see one of my trays usually. So.
Well, I definitely love the compact nature of it, and we can talk about the tournament system later. I think that's like your magnum opus. But I'm actually curious. What made you move then into X-Wing and Legion? I know Legion is the newest one, I think, but X-Wing you've been doing for a couple years now.
Yeah, so I originally didn't go into X-Wing at all because of like market saturation and like makers like Curled Paw by the same token, um, hybrid design. Like I had like 4 sales and they had like 40,000 sales. It's like, okay, well they've got that on lock. I'm not even gonna try and approach that situation. So, but eventually people were like, hey, can you make X-Wing rulers too? So I only have to order from one shop. And so, I mean, that's basically how that went down. I was like, okay. So a lot of the times my customers drag me along kicking and screaming into some things.
Hey, it's customer loyalty, man.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. So once I got those done, it was a lot easier. And then it took me like forever to, I had like made designs for like the X-Wing trays and stuff, but I just like wouldn't post them. But now that stuff's up, and then I've got like a little token layer tray too to go underneath them. But and then Legion, man, I don't know if there's this guy in Ohio, Josh Oburn. If I don't know if he listens to this, but he's gonna be like, "Where's my Legion product at?" But we had like designed this like token tracker thing to like make playing Legion easier, and like eliminated the wound and suppression tokens, and like put little dials, kind of like our shield dials on our ships do.
Oh, nice.
And so I've like finished making that and designing it like a year ago, and I still don't have it like out. So and like I think like the only Legion thing I have up still is the round counter that counts for both Armada and Legion, and then like the Legion silhouette thing. So I mean, honestly, it's just like a lot. So I don't want any employees yet either. So
You're trying to
do
manage
everything,
all of this stuff on your own. Yeah.
right. And so trying to scale it in a way where I can keep producing everything and yet also running all the business side of things is the hard balance. So that's why Armada's the main thing, and then also beyond that, like I have I'll call it the corporate side of Admiral Tater, and so like local businesses, I'll do like corporate gifts or whatever that aren't like gaming related at all. I'm trying to diversify.
Right. But it sounds like what you said, this is your primary source of income. This is your company.
Yeah. So laser. So I mean, this has been awesome because it's afforded me to build a laser engraving like shop and like acquire the knowledge, and so that's more valuable than anything I do. So because there's all sorts of stuff you can make, which is useful.
Well, one thing I'm sure that people might be interested in is, just want to tell you in person, I've said it many times through chat, but just very grateful for you being willing to partner with me and my channel with our giveaways that we've been doing, and especially with you designing my logo for me, which was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
But maybe from your perspective, maybe you want to give the people that watch my channel history of how that came to be.
Let me make sure I get this right. So yeah, like I knew who you were, right? You bought that Chimera set, and then you approached me. It was really convenient because you approached me about I want to say the channel thing, and then I was all about it because I had just tried to make some YouTube videos, and I was like, wow, I do not have time to sit down and edit these things. And so we pounded out that cool logo, and then decided to like partner up, and then I was more than happy to like put forth like ship expansions or whatever, and that's what we've been doing up to now. We got the ship expansion or the credit, but it's been great, especially for the size of the channel and how much it's grown. Like the impact it's had on my shop specifically, it's pretty nuts. Because usually, you're like, oh, you want a YouTube channel with like 50,000 subscribers or something, but it's like scaled incredibly well.
That's one thing I was always concerned on just on my end, because I was I'd never done anything with YouTube before. I was brand new to it, and just a little bit of so people are aware. It was actually I had approached you about. I had put out my second video ever was after we did the Battle of Endor with Rob, the 3-hour bat rep. That was a genius idea, my first one ever. And then I did an introductory video just saying, hey, I'm Ben, downsize it. I'm starting a channel for Armada. And I showed off your rulers. And I don't know how I think I tagged you on that video to say, hey, just wanted to say thanks for the rulers again. I bought off you a year and a half ago.
Yeah, you must have.
Yeah, and then you actually reached out to me and asked me if you wanted to do a partnership.
Yeah,
and,
okay. Yeah.
And then I asked you if you wanted to design the logo for me, and that was kind of how the collaboration started. And I actually kind of waited for about a month because at the time I had no subscribers, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this yet. I want to actually get some videos under my belt, figure out what I'm doing. But I think it was February was our first month, and I was really pleased because we talked, I think, in May again, just that it was actually helping out your store as well, that it was actually mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
Because it was my biggest worry was that I was getting the benefit. So.
Man, well, yeah, so I like love just like the whole giveaway thing. I don't know why. Well, I mean, I guess you just feel good because you're like, oh, check out this sweet free ship. So I was like super happy. I wasn't too concerned about like return, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, it obviously returned great, which is awesome, but because I guess it don't do anything ever with the intention of like trying to only focus on the return on it. Sometimes you just got to do stuff because it's fun.
That's a bad motive. I mean, that's why I'm doing the channel, is because it's a hobby and I enjoy it.
It's just fun. So that's my favorite part of giveaways. And I liked the lazy part of me was like, okay, yeah, now Ben can do all this giveaway stuff for me. Because I used to do a lot of them like monthly on my Etsy or my Facebook and like Instagram pages, and it's a lot to handle. And people
Especially
get like
you got a full-fledged business going on.
Yeah, and people get like people get really mad too if they don't win. Which, you know, because there's always somebody who's like, this is fake. I'm like, why would it be fake? I'm not even like, there's no like, you're not buying anything. There's no like interaction here. It's just like a like and a comment or whatever. So
yeah, unfortunately with the, giveaways are fun, and unfortunately there can only be one winner.
So
but the nice thing is that because it's been successful, we're able to continue to do it. And
for sure, because it's never not fun to do. So
yeah, and for the time being, it seems like we'll just do this until indefinitely for the moment.
Yeah, and definitely. Yeah, because the July winner was pretty cool. It was a customer from Russia that I had actually sold to a while ago. So I was pretty excited to send the wreck you sent to Russia to her. So
yes, yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah. I like that we've gone to the choice now, because I actually had some people commenting earlier when it was just the credit, and then we were doing just the ship, saying, well, what if I already have the ship?
Right.
Or type of thing. So, but one I do want to get to, we've talked, obviously Armada is your primary focus, talked about you doing a little bit in X-Wing, not really with Legion, I guess, because it's just the logistics.
Yeah.
But what was your idea behind, again, it's your rulers are the main selling point, obviously. They changed my life for the game. That's my number one purchase I recommend to people, is to buy a set of custom range rulers for Armada.
Yeah. Just makes playing the game easier.
Just makes playing games so much easier, exponentially better. But now that I have it, that tournament set that you designed, where did that come from?
So a lot of the credits got to go to like two different people. So like one of them is Alan Stelly down in Texas.
Yeah. That's by Mercier, for those know him online. So
the Mercury Fleet Command. Yep. And then my other friend Nick Griffiths. So I remember my first Gen Con, I went to it, and Nick had described this like system. He's like, I really want to be able to just like put all my cards and tokens and then just stack up all my trays at once and then be done with it. And I was like, okay. And at the time that was like, oh, that sounds like a lot.
Right.
Especially with like magnets and stuff. And then later on, Alan had like presented these requirements to me of like a tournament system he would like. And at the time I was like, wow, this sounds ridiculous. Like, I don't know how. I was like trying to be like really positive, but I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna like make this work. He's like, yeah, I want to be able to put my Star Destroyer inside of it, standing up on its stand, and then also like fit all this other stuff. And so he like described this massive thing to me, and now it is a massive thing. So, and you know, we just wanted to be able to put all our ships on it, but also keep it like compact. So I don't know if you've noticed. I mean, of course you have because you have it, but it's not like massively long or wide. It's long, but like you can fit it reasonably places.
Yes.
Instead of like a giant square box or something.
Yeah. And it's actually the depth of it. It isn't too deep, but it's deep enough to fit a tackle box, which for me is perfect.
Yeah. So it's deep enough to fit a tackle box, and then like the felled hair foam pieces.
Yeah.
Which I know a ton of people have. I had a ton of them. So it can fit those, and there's like a couple other companies who make foam things that fit inside of it, because it's a pretty like average size inside, like 13 inches long and like 7.5 inches deep. So,
and just for people that are wondering, that I like Battle Foam. For people that do shop at Battle Foam, it actually, because I've done some research, it fits the Blood Bowl, standard Blood Bowl size.
Yeah.
So I definitely plan on getting some custom pieces to put in there as well from Battle Foam, but any foam would work as long as you get the dimensions. So.
Exactly. So it's pretty open-ended as far as like what you can fit inside of that open area. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's basically what it was. I mean, so the tray idea was pitched to me, and I thought about it for like almost 2.5 years, until I finally was able to logistically get it done in a way that I could do like quickly and consistently.
To be able to scale it, right?
Yeah, that's the hardest part. Like, you can make anything, but can you make it 1,000 times?
Right. That's the challenge.
Yeah. So thankfully, like, who is it? I had a couple people, Kellorn on the Discord, he got one of like the early systems, and I had a local guy here get an early system who really helped me work the kinks out of it, as far as refining how I was going to get this thing assembled. Because like when you put it together, it's made of acrylic, and I acrylic weld it together. It's not easy to do it. It's not like I'm bolting together an aquarium or something. So yeah, because I'm like, I got to make this so it can hold all this weight, but also so people can accidentally drop it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, which I don't recommend ever.
No, you don't want to do that. I mean,
yeah,
it's still, I mean, acrylic isn't indestructible. So,
and you can
break don't
anything.
Take your range rulers and bend them. You still want to be careful with your stuff.
Yeah, so I got to make this thing durable, and also like if somebody orders this in like, I don't know, Britain, can I get this to them, or Australia?
Right.
If they're willing to pay like the $10,000 in shipping.
Yeah.
So, but I sent one to Canada, and it made it nice and clean, so I was pretty confident after that. So but yeah,
I did notice, what are for the people that might not know, because when I was at the Lone Star Open, when we had all 4 of them set up in a line and took the picture, I noticed that mine and Alan's were different from Kellorn's, and I believe his name is Josh, who had the other one. I think those were the early systems, and Kellorn and Alan and I had your current ones. Like, what are some of the adjustments you've made over the past half year? Do you remember?
So Josh's, or Paul Kellorn, his was like the first of like 2 that were made.
Like the prototype, you could say.
Yeah, well, the prototype's pretty rough, but these are like real ones. Yeah. His ship stand tray at the top had less squadron marker slots, which was a big one. But the box itself really hasn't changed all that much since I figured out like the dimensions of it and how I was going to get it assembled. Mm-hmm. So all your boxes should be the same as far as like dimensions and everything else.
Size-wise, yeah.
Yeah. The biggest change is like the ship trays themselves. I've refined those a lot, like where you put the cards in, the card trays and token
Yeah,
trays.
I noticed that mine was very different. Like I think Alan's had like where you put like the commander or the ship card had like inside there, like for the tokens were like cut into the base of the tray.
Exactly.
And the one mine has like an insert you can remove and
Yep.
take out now. It's
Yeah, so
modular.
just like over time, I've refined that to a spot I prefer, and it leaves a lot more room for upgrade cards. Because I was somebody left a comment on one of my YouTube videos is like, it doesn't fit the cards perfectly, and like I meant it to not fit the cards perfectly, if that makes sense. Like as far as like space wise, but it like really left an impact on me. Whenever I get any kind of feedback back, I really think about it and try and act on it.
Yeah.
And so that pushed me to continue to try and whittle things down. So, but yeah, the current ship trays I have, and I really need to update the photos on Etsy because I haven't updated those yet, are just much more like refined and a lot less wasted space, I could call it. But yeah, as far as the boxes go, I mean, they're all equivalent. The colors can change a little bit. And now what people can do is on the inside is I can remove that, you know how you have that little compartment that you put the tray in?
Yep.
Your template tray. And you're exactly right in the video. You're like, oh, well, this needs to be here for this to support it. You're absolutely right. That's what it was meant to do.
Yeah, that was and you know, I'm glad I figured that out early when I was testing it out for the review, because I had it out, then I put all had the template tray out because I was going to display it, then I put all of my tackle boxes back in. Then I noticed it starting to go. I was like, oh wait, let's not do that.
Now on the bright side, I did a lot of testing. Like it would take a ton. Like you would have to hit it to do something. Like it'll just bow. Like nothing will happen to it.
Yeah.
But it'll be really hard to put your tray back in.
Yes.
Is the hard part.
Yeah, you want to put the tray in first. I discovered that as well early on.
Yeah. So the other option is that doesn't exist. So it's just open on the inside.
Okay, so you don't put your template tray in there, or you just maybe have that as a bottom
part?
Well,
you just don't have a template tray, and instead I have a smaller template tray that the rulers fit on diagonally that fit on top of the card trays.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So because it was kind of hard for me because I was like, okay, well, I've sold all these people this giant template tray, and I have to make sure they can use this box the same as somebody who doesn't want to buy that tray but just wants to buy the box.
Right.
And so, you know, we have people who want the tray and the box, and then I have people who just want the box, but they still want to store the rulers. So I make a smaller tray just to put the rulers in, and then that magnetically snaps onto the top. So there's two options.
You have so many options. It's crazy how you come up with all these ideas.
Oh, I can't take credit for most of them. Most of them are people who are like, hey, I don't want this, I want this. And I say, okay. And then I usually act on what they've said. And then a lot of my new products come from people who are like, this doesn't fit my play style. Can you make another one? And then there's usually always a bunch of people who also agree with that person.
Gotcha.
Which makes it always useful usually. I usually don't have a lot of custom design charges unless I feel like this isn't going to be like a reproducible item, or if I know it's going to be like a doable, but I don't want to do it ever again.
Right, like a one and done.
Right.
Yeah. So another thing I'm curious about, I don't want to just be asking about your products all for this interview, but I just love them, which is great.
Thanks.
But the squadron markers, those have been a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that?
Those are my all-time favorite. Those were, I got to give some credit to, what's it? Do you know the Galactic Conflict podcast?
I'm aware of it. I've never watched it.
Yeah, so he's Canadian. I want to say his name, saying all these people's names. Brandon McLeod, I think is his name. But he had a really awesome podcast he used to listen to. I think he's slowed down lately. But he was asking me about squadron markers. And so that gave me the idea of like, okay, well, I got to fit these. But the main problem was, you know, most acrylic is like 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeters thick, which is too big to put squadrons on.
Gotcha.
And so I got a hold of 1/16 of an inch acrylic, and that would fit underneath them. But the real problem with that is acrylic is light. So if you tap it, it moves everywhere. And so it ruins the whole point of the squadron markers. And so another thing I had done before that was I went and bought some washers because I had saw somebody using them at Gen Con, and they were using just regular like inch and a quarter washers to like mark their squadrons. But then the problem was you could put them on the washers, but like your squadrons would fall off.
Yeah.
Or like they would sit candy cornered or whatever. And so it was a good solution, but it wasn't a great solution. So eventually I was able to combine that into like putting this 1/16 of an inch on top of this washer, and then putting the, so that way when your squadron stand sits on it, that 1/16 of an inch acrylic piece fits up inside the squadron part, and then so it's centered on the washer, and then the washer's heavy so it doesn't move. And so that was the solution. And I was like, okay, well this is fantastic.
They have been, again, just game changer for me, just like the rulers. And I love squadron playing with tons of squads. And it makes it so much easier to not just moving squads, just when they're taking damage, being able to just pick them up, adjust and put them back down exactly where they were before. Pick them up to put the ruler down. It's makes it so much easier to play, just like the rulers. It makes me wonder, what are you going to come up with next? Or wonder what customer is going to come up with something next. Do you have anything on the horizon?
So there's like a mini, we'll call it the mini Tater tournament system. For people who don't want the big one, I'm trying to come up with a solution. Well, like the idea is formed and I have some of the drawings done, but it's like a smaller version that's not a box, but it just magnetically snaps together, and it would combine with the box if you wanted to. And really my goal with it is to combine the damage deck, the dice holding, your like other token holding, and then the dial holding. Well, other tokens are like, your chaff, your raid, your objective tokens, into a acrylic magnetic little thing that can separate out into easily accessible modular pieces. So like take off the dice and damage deck thing, or damage deck holder, and put it over here, and then an easy place to store your command and speed dials, and then also easy place to access the tokens you wouldn't put on my trays that I make. It's like the defense and command tokens.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah, it'll be really neat.
Like an even more modular set, more modular components that you can add onto it.
Right, because that's like the thing that's kind of still annoying is obstacles and dice, like other things that you still have to have other stuff to put in.
Basically, so you don't have to use tackle boxes.
Basically, I'm trying to eliminate as much stuff as I can, and then make it out of acrylic. So that's the hardest part, is making it in a way that is not 500 pounds of acrylic. Which is why there's some 3D printer makers on Etsy who make some really neat stuff. But always my fear, and I've experienced this with my own trays that I've sold, is, if you accidentally leave something in a car for like an hour in the middle of July,
and it'll melt. It's
game over. Yeah. Or it'll warp.
Yep.
So I like acrylic because it's permanent.
Yep.
Permanent. And so if people spend a lot of money, and I never want somebody to feel like, they got a raw deal. So I want to make sure everything they get, feels quality in their hands, and it doesn't feel like it's going to be a fragile piece of, product. So
right. Well, one thing that is this, that you did for the Lone Star Open and then for the Texas Open, and still in the planning stages on my end, but we talked about, for whenever I try to do local tournament here, is prize support that you're doing now. And when did that start? Is that new for this year? Are you providing prize support for local tournaments?
No, so I've been doing prize support for a while. Nothing on the scale it is this year, only because there's a vacuum as far as official support.
Yeah.
And so I am happy to try and fill that void. I try not to get too crazy with it, because as far as what I mean by this is I'm not trying to charge all these poor tournament organizers like an arm and a leg to make these things happen. And so that can be kind of challenging as far as mass producing stuff. for these things, but I like doing it. But
You can't imagine it's part of the having to fit that into your normal production schedule.
Yeah. So
and then again, like you said, the cost. I don't even want to think about how much all that stuff would have cost for the organizers of the LSO and TXO, but I'm sure you have to have those considerations as well.
Yeah, because I want to help out as much as possible, because I don't want the Armada thing to like, what's it called, like lose steam, because we're doing really good ever since the Clone Wars
great
launched.
Momentum going. It's coming back strong, I think.
Yeah, because I've never been involved in the game where it was exciting like this, because I didn't get into like 2018 really. Yeah, it was pretty dead then.
Same here. I mean, mine was 2017 and it was dead. And I just played with my local friends who didn't own the game. They just played with my stuff, and then I took like 2 years off where I didn't play at all.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So I think I see some posts or whatever. They're like, "Oh, is Armada gonna?" I guess we see these posts like all the time. Is Armada dead? No, it's not.
Not anymore.
people love the Clone Wars. And then like there's people buying the stuff that you don't see as far as like being involved in like Facebook groups or Reddit or the Discord. Just like average people are buying these ships, and that's why you can never buy any, because I mean they're all being sold out so fast.
Yeah.
This stuff's just popular.
But it's just an exciting time, and I'm really excited that there are so many, just the fans, because there's been such a lack of actual official like organized play support, that kind of thing. The fans stepping in. Ever since the Lone Star Open happened, I've noticed on the Facebook Armada group and even on Discord, there are tournaments popping up all over the place now, all over the country, and even in Canada, of just local people trying to organize now. And that just shows, I think it's a sign that the game's in a healthy state.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you love to see it. I love getting messages where people are like, "Hey, I have an event in September. Can I get this in time?" And I get those messages like every day now, which is fantastic to know.
Awesome.
Which means, that means everything's really healthy, as far as, people aren't trying to like, "Oh, I want to get this just in case I might have an event next year." Like they have stuff scheduled, which is great, because I want to see this game go on for a long time.
Same here. For a long time. That would be, I would love that. So I don't want to put any words in, put maybe I don't want to guess. I would just want to see, with tournament support, have you ever thought, once AMG gets around to doing official tournaments, collaborating with them potentially in an official capacity? Is that something that's ever crossed your mind?
I don't think so, only because I can't scale to what they would need by myself.
Yeah.
So I think long term, I love Armada and gaming, but as far as like in my professional business endeavors here, my journey will long term take me more towards that corporate side of stuff I'm doing, as far as making like, I partner with like a realtor company or a local company here, and then just supply things to them, just because that's more scalable for me, but also it's a little bit more, I guess, lucrative, you could say.
Yeah,
like as far as like
as a business,
dollars per minute is what I'm doing. Yeah. So, because it's a lot easier to do one order for 1 month instead of trying to do like 200 orders for 1 month.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and also I don't know how long the what's it called, the Star Wars miniatures game will keep rolling this way.
Yeah, right now we're in a windfall, a golden era of it, and but like all things, it will dip eventually.
Exactly.
I mean, we don't want to be naive about it, but we'll enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, absolutely. Because something will, the next game will come up eventually. Yeah, because I know before this, what is it, Wizard of the Coast had their Star Wars miniatures game.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yep.
That was like a long time ago now, but
well,
so something neat will pop up next.
I am curious. Have you been able to play Armada much? I mean, with you having this business, are you able to actually play?
Yeah, so I try and play every Saturday if I can, which sometimes it's just difficult. But as with anybody's life, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do try and get out because we have a local group here in Lexington, Kentucky, and then I like to go to Louisville when I can, and also in Northern Kentucky now, up at Hebron, Kentucky. So everything's within easy driving range of me, which is great. Sometimes I get a little sick of looking at Armada stuff.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And I've actually been feeling that a little bit myself. I want to be careful because I love the game so much and I love doing the channel so much. I don't want to get burned out.
Yeah, exactly. Although it's pretty funny, I'll feel like, oh, I really don't want to go play right now. But then like once I get there and start playing, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
I remember why I like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember now.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's hard to separate it sometimes, but yeah, I do love playing the game. I'm not good at all, but man, I do love playing it. Some people, I rely on my friends around me here to like tell me like what the meta is. They're like, oh, I know this list is terrible. You need to do this. I'm like, all right, okay, I'll do this.
You should just go with your esoteric off the wall list and just run with it.
Yeah.
Because it's not normal, it'll throw people off, right?
Oh yeah, and that loses every time. Yeah, because I am terrible at as far as like pre-planning list building. So I'll build a list of what I think sounds good, and I won't spend enough time thinking about it, and I'll get there and like, oh well, this does not mesh well. But
it's good to experiment. That's what,
oh yeah.
And one of the things I love about this game is that there are so many different ways to play and to build a list, and it still be viable. There isn't just one way to play.
Yeah,
exactly.
One thing I
love about it.
Yeah, I focus on what's it called? Is this going to be cool? A little bit too much, which makes me happy. But
hey, you and me both. I build around narrative. I prefer to build around narrative more than, and I want to get back to that. I mean, the past 2 months I spent building around super competitive play, and I'm ready to get back to, let's just put some fun narrative stuff together. So
yeah, so I got really hopeful when AMG was talking about the scenario.
That
play.
Yeah, that was kind of unfortunate.
That's what I really want to see them
push
really hard.
Yes,
because I am huge into the whole like the campaign and story kind of stuff. And I've got a friend here. He plays. He's really competitive. He's like, no, I only want competitive play. I'm like, oh, you're so sweaty. He's a former Warhammer player, so he's all about the
competitive.
All about like, okay, don't roll that red dice. You need to roll the blue dice because you have a 0.25% chance better. I'm like, oh, jeez.
Wow. Yeah.
He's pretty awesome. He's great.
Yeah. The nice thing is, so the game can take all kinds and
absolutely
satisfy all kinds.
Yeah.
So. Well, just for anything that people might want to know about, is there anything you wanted to talk about? Just kind of like a free form open question.
Well, I got nothing special. I'm just processing orders as normal. So if you're interested in anything or have questions, I'm always open to answer, and I always answer really fast.
Yes, you do. You're really on point. Like I mean, I feel like since we're in a partnership, this is kind of self-serving, but I just want to pile on more praise. Your customer service has been fantastic, even before we had our partnership. And
well, thanks, man.
The amount of back and forth discussing when I got my original tray and working on the design and all that stuff was fantastic. And the fact that, I know you can't do this with everybody, but the fact that you actually remembered who I was a year and a half later, when I reached out to you about that tray, you actually remembered it. And the way you ship things, I talked about this in my review with the tournament tray. I don't know where you got those boxes from, but they definitely don't feel like cardboard.
Yeah, no, I ordered.
My goodness, where do you get those? But
I ordered Uline, so.
But just the customer service is on top of just the product quality. So.
Yeah, thanks, man. That's my philosophy. If I do everything right with the customer, even if I send them something I messed up, I have trust that they'll tell me I messed up and I can fix it.
Yeah.
Because nobody's perfect, for sure. But yeah, the customer service is the most important thing to me. I obsess over it probably a little bit too much, but I like to make sure that it is taken care of and everybody feels like they matter, because everybody does matter to me. So, because the only reason I do anything is for them. So, yeah,
Well,
man.
it definitely shows. And so just want to remind everybody that maybe if this is your first time watching a video on my channel and don't even know who Garrett is, we do have, a partnership and currently a giveaway that we do every month. Just want to remind everybody of. And it's, again, we're doing the option now. We can get a $50 store credit to Garrett's shop. And the ship expansion right now is the Liberty expansion. This was actually donated anonymously. And these giveaways, how you enter is just subscribe to the channel and then comment in the comments below. Answer the questions I give in the videos. There will be no questions in this video, just any comments will do. But also the important thing is go check out Garrett's shop. And when you check it out, we have a discount code partnership as well. You can use Downsize at 10 to get 10% off anything in his shop, whether it's X-Wing, Legion, or Armada, it doesn't matter. And, Garrett has, just want to say your stuff is fantastic. It's great for the community. I love how much you are supporting the community just through the product you made, just out of seeing a necessity for it and just high quality, because it just changes the game having those rulers. Just nothing else. If you buy nothing else, get the rulers because it changes the game.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And then your support through the tournament prize support is fantastic, just for us local guys doing things.
Yeah, I mean the real workers are you guys out here doing all the content creation. It's a lot of work. I know it is, all the filming and the creation, so I appreciate all that, because that gets people into the game. They can see how the game's played, and that's awesome. So
I just love how all these different facets can collaborate together. So, and we can get more people on this train and can continue the collaboration and keep expanding it and letting it grow.
For sure.
Well, Garrett, thank you again for coming on for the interview. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we sign off?
I guess not. I guess I'm excited about that Star Wars Visions thing that's coming out soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That looks pretty dope.
Looking forward to it, and I think Book of Boba Fett's coming out this winter. Looking forward to that one as well.
So I'm a huge fan of all those projects. So because it was like that Vision thing is like, okay, that's what I want to see, is like Jedi and Sith fighting. That looks just like it's gonna be really cool. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
But yeah, thanks again for having me on, and I guess
and thank you, Garrett, for basically continuing our partnership and continuing to support the Armada community. So
love doing it. So
for you guys watching,
talk to you later.
Yep, and remember, if you guys want to enter into the giveaway, just leave a comment in the comments below, and I'll be announcing the winner on September 1st. So until next time, guys, take it easy.